tell you things are bad? Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad.
Peace and blessings to you all. Welcome back. Episode 16, and we are here for the Wake Up Show. Sorry for the late schedule. You know, things are pretty intense right now. A lot going on for me. I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to maintain the morning slot. We might have to move it back to the afternoon. I'm really trying to work things out here. It's just, I got so much on my plate, man. And a morning show is really hard to maintain, sustain, etc. for me. So just be patient with me, guys. We're doing the shows Tuesday and Wednesday regardless, but I'm really struggling with this time slot. So bear with me. We might do it early. We might not. We'll see. I'm just trying to fit things in when I can, however I can. But we're going to keep this thing steadily moving along. So I appreciate you all. So, okay. Wow, Super Bowel. Yeah, we had the Super Bowel. Why Super Bowel? Well, I mean, for the most part, these massive events are BS, right? Not to say they can't be entertaining, right? There are some aspects of these things that can be entertaining, but for the most part, at this level, it's a bunch of BS and a lot of distraction. And whether it be occult, esoteric type of ritualistic stuff or political stuff, these things are put together to have an impact that far exceeds pure entertainment, in my personal opinion. Now, interestingly, and some people, I'm sure, I haven't been able to check out Brother Theo's latest work, but I'm sure he went into some much deeper and darker esoteric aspects that I'm probably not even aware of. But I noticed that this was, well, there were clearly some occult symbols and stuff, but this was a political thing. This was a very political thing. And interestingly, it was very similar to what I had mentioned before about his 2016 performance at the Grammys. It was a 2.0 version of that in a way. But there was more of a unifying message. It was still pandering to the same kind of liberation thing, but there was an interesting tie-in towards the end, especially with the symbols, that appeared to look like let's bury the hatchet. Let's let bygones be bygones. And we'll talk about that. I'll show you some things here. For me, it really it matches the synthesis thing, how we're going into a new golden age, a new era of America, a new life of America, a new American life, a new American experience, but also a new industry, a new hip hop industry, a new hip hop culture, possibly. Right. So it's really, really interesting how this came about. Before we jump into that halftime performance, let's just talk quickly here about the Super Bowel. Super it's the and Kendrick's Super Bowel movement, his Super Bowel political movement, which pretty much that's what it was. Um the commercials, guys, the commercials. I did actually watch, not the whole thing, but I watched a decent amount of the game. Um I watched mainly for the commercials. I love seeing the Super Bowl commercials because they always tell us stuff. They're always showing the social engineering and the propaganda, the predictive programming, etc. in the commercials. And the commercials, if you guys caught any of it, the commercials were for the most part nothing but well, a lot of AI is one thing I saw. So much AI, CGI, etc. I was seeing AI throughout. I thought that was very fascinating as they're blending artificial intelligence technology into our reality, blending it in to the point where most people don't even realize the majority of what we saw in those commercials was AI. And some of it was bad, like really bad. This one right here, I don't know if you guys caught this one, but this was ridiculous. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I don't want to get hit. But this is a Mountain Dew commercial. You could hear the Seal song. I saw this. This is so bad. It's just so bad. Look at this. Oh my goodness. It's not the greatest quality, but they did this. They really did this. They did that. they really they really did that. It was bad. I mean, what do you expect? These commercials are zany. Oh, that's another thing. The commercials in general were super strange, and they're always a bit odd. They're always a bit odd, but this round they were just so like beyond weird. And I guess they're appealing to the Gen Z internet humor. Yeah, they were horrible. The commercials were really bad this time. I mean, hey, sometimes the commercials are kind of good, because they put a lot of effort into it, a lot of money. They're putting a lot of writing in there. Yeah, Nana, that's where I'm kind of going with it. This year around, it was very PC. In fact, it had some, almost conservative vibes going. They showed this was interesting. They showed Taylor Swift once, and I guess the only time they showed her was when she was getting booed. So for me, it was just wow, a total inversion. You see probably one of the most woke industries, the NFL and hyper progressive, all of this totally just flipped the script. And sure, Trump is in office. It makes sense. Everyone's in a sense flipping the script as they're supposed to. But at the same time, it was Black History Month. And they did have a lot of Black history sentiment in the halftime performance. But at the same time, they shut down Taylor Swift. They weren't really buying into any of that. It was just very, very interesting how this all played out. It didn't fit any typical agenda. And I personally think that was by design. They were definitely trying to do something different because we're in this new era now. We're in this new era. Now, before we jump in, I do understand there was this controversy with Lil Wayne. I guess he was apparently supposed to perform, or at least he wanted to. It was in New Orleans. Lil Wayne's from New Orleans, etc. And he was like pretty butthurt about it. And he had posted this. I wanted to look at this last week, but it just didn't fit. But check this out. He posted this. kind of saying, "Hey guys, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna show up."
Y'all know I'm not gonna be there this week, which means I guess there's a seat to fill. Shout out to New Orleans, but I've been working on something very special. I got something exciting coming for you.
So most likely he's gonna drop an album or something. Now, I know a lot of people were upset about this. They're like, "Oh, he should be able to perform. He's like, the biggest thing out of New Orleans, etc." And let's be honest. Yeah, Super Bowl, that's a good one. Yeah, who cares, right? And let's be honest, do you guys remember his performance at the WWE? I think this is what got him probably crossed off the list right away. You guys
I need your hands up! Hands up! I need your
Oh, this was funny.
hands up!
Let's go. A millionaire, I'm a young money millionaire. Tougher than Nigerian. My criteria.
Yeah. I don't think anyone wants to see that. I just don't. I don't think anyone's interested in seeing another one, a repeat of that. Yeah, and I'm not saying, it's impossible for him to put on a good show, but yeah, I think after that, I don't think anyone's really interested, man. Just to be honest. Super Toilet Bowl. Yeah. Yes, the Super Bowel. Oh man, it always wants to do this to me, doesn't it? Let me fix this. The Super Bowel. Super Bowel. Yeah, flush the ball. Good one, Pari. Good to see you. Shout out to Axiom. Good to see you. Mo Griff, Slim Hussein. Good to see you guys, man. Yeah, so the Super Bowel. Here we are. Yeah, let's continue. I just thought that was funny. And then, this guy, it's strange to me how Kendrick Lamar is all of a sudden this super big guy. Here's him being rushed in. Out of the way, important man coming through. It's just the whole thing is just so comical. I don't know. It's just all of this. Okay, let me get into some of these. So here's everyone's flipping out about the performance. I found this clip here. This is like a very surface kind of status quo perspective on the art behind it. And for perspective, it's fun to look at things from all the angles. We could look esoteric. Let's look exoteric. Let's see what the normies are saying. So this is just kind of general breakdown of what it took to put this show on. I found it kind of interesting.
From gutting a GNX to turning the field into a game controller, here's how Kendrick Lamar's incredible Super Bowl halftime show came to life. Lamar and his creative director Mike Carson came up with the concept. To make the Grammy-winning artist vision happen, the team worked hand in hand with art director
So apparently she's the art director. Now, a lot of people had a whole lot to say about the performance. Was all of that her idea? Was she handed down a list of things she had to incorporate? I'm sure. I don't think she came up with everything on her own. She's just the director, of course. But interesting to see who's behind this stuff. Very, very interesting to actually see the individuals doing the work.
Kelly Rogers. She solved big stage problems for everyone, from Beyonce to Lady Gaga, and she won an Emmy for her work on Rihanna's halftime show in 20.
Wow. Okay, now it's making a little more sense, huh? Yeah, she's worked on, of course, the Queen Witch, Lady Gaga, and Rihanna. Interesting.
Problems for everyone, from Beyonce to Lady Gaga, and she won an Emmy for her work on Rihanna's halftime show in 2023. Putting together any halftime show is no easy feat. You have to get all of the staging, lights, dancers, and the artists themselves onto the field in 7.5 minutes, and then get them all off 6 minutes after the final note. Not to mention, you have to do all of this without screwing up the turf, in front of an expected audience of around 120 million people. Lamar's show required more than 50 carts of staging and equipment, each weighing between 1,500 and 3,500 pounds, to be rolled out in the center of the Superdome. To protect the field, the carts rode on specially designed wheels so the playing surface remained ready for the game's second half. But setup wasn't the only hurdle the team had to conquer.
The whole PlayStation thing is pretty interesting. To me, it says something totally different. It's, game over, but not necessarily game over. It's like the game is being reset. And when I'm using the term game, I'm looking at it at a technological level. right? This virtual game, this spatial, digital, virtual avatarship of America, golden age, industrial revolution, part 4. That's the game right there, in my view.
The GNX for Lamar'S show was hard to find, especially after he dropped an album.
Yes, gamification. Shout out to Axiom. Precisely. That's what we're really getting at here.
The car's name. But after one near mishap and a lot of research, they were able to find one thanks to Eric Eastland from All Access, the company responsible for fabricating the stage for Sunday's show.
All this goes into these things, man. That you already know. As above, so below. Very esoteric symbolism in this. It's deep on so many levels, right? I've looked at a lot of people's breakdowns, and there's so many different angles, and almost all of them make sense. But that's how layered a lot of this stuff is, especially when we talk occult.
They gutted the vehicle to make room for the small army of dancers who joined Lamar on the stage, which was inspired by a PlayStation-style controller. The performance was intended to portray Lamar's life as a video game, and it did just that. And while the car's street legal days are over, Lamar's performance in the GNX now go down in history.
Gutting a G. Okay. Now let's continue here. Okay, this first little part here, we're going to break down just some of the basic Super Bowl halftime stuff, and then we're going to get into like all the symbolism, all the political stuff, and some of the ways it ties in. Now, one of the big things people were saying, responding to this, was it sucked. People were saying it was garbage. And I'm talking about Kendrick Lamar fans. I'm talking about hip hop fans. They were saying it was underwhelming. Besides all of the messaging and the political stuff, just the performance itself, they were saying was garbage. And here's like one of these famous streamers, and he just looks bored. And there's a lot of these types of videos that people have been passing around. He just looks bored. And it looks real quiet, looks real quiet in certain areas. People were very surprised he did that song. Now for me, I'm looking at it like, okay, well, before I say that, let's just say, was it good? Was it bad? Just at the artistic level. I try to address things objectively as well, try to look at things for the artistic value. There was good cinematography. There was some really cool cinematography, some I guess good balance with regard to the stage and the bodies. It had some interesting flow and choreography. The composition was pretty cool. There were some cool things. The color coding was clearly Americana. That's what they were going for. Kind of basic. Honestly, all I saw was ripping off and biting off of Kanye West shows. It just looked like a Kanye West show. And I think he's kind of set the tone when it comes to doing these types of elaborate and extravagant performances, as far as the color coding, the solid tones, and even the lighting. It was very Kanye West-ish. So it didn't really move me in any artistic sense. It just kind of looked like they stole a bunch of they watched a bunch of Kanye tours and threw in some Americana stuff and kind of repeated a lot of the symbols and messages of his 2016 performance at the Grammys. So for me, it was lackluster in those ways, but there was some cool cinematography, and I give him credit for the breath control, doing all of that, and he didn't seem to be too much out of breath. Clearly, that was some talent there. But that's about it. Other than that, I don't know, man. People are really flipping out, though. There's a big back and forth about it. Now, here's another one here. I guess what people are saying is, people don't know his music. And I think there's some truth there. So you can see this. The crowd looks pretty dead, man. Looks pretty dead. Yeah, people are filming it because, hey, he's a famous guy doing the Super Bowl halftime, but no one knows his music. No one really knows this music. And that's the thing, man. That's one thing I was thinking. I was like, Okay, why did the Super Bowl halftime show turn into like a promotion for a rap battle? I mean, it was about Drake. Think about this, guys. Wait till tomorrow. I got a whole breakdown on, like, I have the other side, this other side of goings on, like the dark side of the Drake aspect of it that digs into some deeper things. But when you look at this, it was all about Drake. It's crazy. Drake's supposed to be dead, and he's taken over, but the whole thing was surrounded around Drake. So I found that very interesting. He made this whole performance about a diss track to Drake. I thought that was super lame. He did make a lot of political statements with his performance and etc. But I mean, we just kind of saw the rap battle on stage, basically. I don't know. It didn't because now I'm gonna show you guys some breakdowns people made. There's a whole lot involved with this performance. I mean, so much symbolism, so much messaging. I mean, this thing is layered. Kendrick Lamar layers things. This thing is layered. What I'm saying, my personal point here is that the crescendo, the biggest part of the performance, the part that everyone was talking about was the A minor part. No one else was talking about all those very detailed intricacies of the performance that were there. But all that stuff went over people's heads. I mean, that's only for the people that know what's going on, for the people that are Kendrick fans, etc., that are really paying attention to these symbols. For the most part, everybody was talking about the A minor part. So I found that fascinating, how that overshadowed all of the work he did. All of the work he did, that overshadowed it. And that's kind of sad. Kind of sad and pathetic, honestly. But again, what do you expect? Now, people are clowning on SZA. Apparently, she didn't have her mic on. And it looked like she didn't, too. She's like lip singing, I think. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, people are really talking crazy about SZA. She was up there lip singing. And I'll give it to Kendrick. He wasn't. He was really spitting that whole time. And the breath control that guy has is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So yeah, she was lip singing the whole time. Lame. Sorry. I'm just saying. Lame. And let's see, what's this? And he had the A minor little details that I thought were funny and clever. He's a clever dude. He got the little A minor. Little A minor chain. Just little details, little jabs. It's funny. Have a little fun. But at the same time, it's low. It's just low. And I think the whole Drake, and I'll talk about this tomorrow more, the whole Drake as a PDF thing is a derailment. Get everybody focused on big bad Drake as the big creep, when in fact, man, he's surface level. There are massive industries and connected networks, flesh and traffic networks that are out there that everyone is just completely disregarding because they want to talk about Drake. Really funny. I think the whole thing is a kind of look over there situation. And then I didn't know who this was at first. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw her, I was like, "What is that up there?" Crip walking. And this apparently is Serena Williams. It's just cringy. It was so cringy, man. I guess she used to date Drake. I didn't even know that. It's just like, what is this? What is this? It's just cringy. I'm sorry. It was just very hard to watch. Some of this stuff is just too over the top. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but her sister was actually killed by a Crip. Yeah. It's crazy. Exclusive Southside Crips gang member who was convicted for killing Serena and Venus Williams' beloved sister in a drive-by shooting in Compton is released from prison early for good behavior. So a lot of people are talking about this, and I think it's okay. Your sister got killed by a Crip, and you're up there Crip walking. So for me, and a lot of people have been saying this as well, this is not a good message. Why are we promoting this stuff? And I agree with that. Not to mention people are getting mad at her because she has a Caucasian husband. Right? So a lot of contradictory stuff here. Why are we promoting gang violence and gangs in general whilst at the same time talking about politics? It's just stupid. I'm sorry. It's like we don't need gangsters talking about politics. It makes no sense. But I think that's also by design. You have idiots talking about politics. It's smart. It's clever. It's a good thing. It's smart. If you want to, manipulate and exploit populations of people, that's the way to do it. And that's what we're seeing. You want to get up here and talk about politics, but you're promoting like self-destruction, we'll say. You're promoting self-destruction, but you want to talk about politics and slavery and all of this stuff, but you're crip walking. You up there crip walking. Yeah. Yeah, Crips kill each other. It ain't just Crip and blood. I mean, more Crips kill Crips than Crips kill Bloods, if you really know what's going on. But anyways, like, I'll give you a good example of some cool cinematography. This little shot here, I thought was pretty cool. This is just one example. There was some cool cinematography. I'll definitely give him that. The way he pops in here. Oh, I can't play that, huh? I don't want to get hit for that. But I just want to show you. This is a kind of cool scene here. Like this right here is the way they pan and the way he pops into the frame right here. And I agree with this person here. It's a peekaboo, they say. It's good. Boom, right there. And he just comes in like that. That was sweet. These are just good examples of thoughtful cinematography in a show. It's a little different than what you might normally see. Yeah, I appreciated some of that stuff. And some of the panning was cool, of course, but even some of the establishing shots were really cool, very Kanye West style, far back shots of the entire area. Pretty cool stuff. From an artistic point of view, I thought some of it was well done. Now, I don't know if y'all saw this. This is crazy. Someone's doing witchcraft at the game. And this apparently is Mahomes. This is really disturbing. I don't know. They probably just did this to go viral. But this is just creepy. Let me turn that down. They got this song everywhere, man. I swear. And how played out is that song, by the way? Yep. She over here. Okay, hold on. Let me play this.
I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I was going for the Eagles. But I was like, babe, why is Mahomes playing like this? Like, something is off with the whole team, but especially Patrick. He's like, man, who knows, But I was like, no, I feel like someone did something to him or someone did some, voodoo. And he just laughed at me, but I was like, no, seriously. And then I see this shit this morning on Twitter, on X. Like, who is this lady? Now, I know not everyone believes in stuff like this, and I'm not saying that this is the sole reason that they lost, but, this is not something that should
everyone's
be played
passing.
with.
This is so viral right now, Pandora. I mean, everyone's making such a big thing out of this because, it almost looked like the Chiefs just laid down. I don't know. It just looked like they laid down. Eagles, they got some talent, but come on. That game was weird. And the way Mahomes was, muted the entire game, it was weird.
And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, what the hell? And then, being in NOLA of all places.
What the heck is that? I don't know. I saw that. Everyone's passing it around. I was like, okay, this right here. Who do you see doing voodoo in the stands? I can't believe. That doesn't seem very real to me. Manipulated like all sports. Yeah, shout out to Van Allen. Good to see you, bro. Spiritual Logic Hulk in the building. Good to see you, man. Yeah, it's rigged, right? Come on. It was just a weird game. I enjoyed it. I like seeing good athletes, go toe to toe, but it was interesting to say the least. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show was officially the most watched performance ever. That's wild. Yeah, she was poking the hell out of that thing, wasn't she? She gonna go cut her finger. She going that hard, man. Watch yourself. Yeah, this is wild. The most watched performance ever, 133.5 million viewers, of course. Right? It surpasses Michael Jackson's halftime show. Really, guys? Am I supposed to believe this is accurate? That's just wild to me. I know more people are viewing than people were viewing back during Michael Jackson's time, but this just can't be the case, man. I don't know. Anyways, now let's move on. Let's get into the political stuff here. So, as anyone would probably expect, the the right is going crazy. Conservatives are going wild. They really are going wild. And to me, I guess I expected this. Anytime you see any hip hop, anything, of course, conservatives are going to say a bunch of things, because the culture, hip hop, etc., it's always equated to, heathens and hoodlums and crime and violence. And in most representations and symbols, this is the case. And I understand that. But I think that was also part of the the agitation propaganda. So Benny Johnson, one of these big conservative guys, he says here, "Hi, this is not music. This is some loser mumbling. There is nothing artistic or redeeming about this. NFL, stop behaving like Americans like this." Now, I think that's a bit too far. First off, I mean, he's clearly not mumbling. If anyone knows Kendrick Lamar's style, he's the furthest thing from mumbling. But again, we're having non-artists critiquing art, so we shouldn't expect much. Right. And then there's the whole political, ideological, and even racialist angle that's kind of superimposed over it. We totally understand that. The conservative right has been conditioned and engineered over the last several years to, in a sense, be against anything, quote unquote, black and vice versa. This is helter-skelter. We're dealing with helter-skelter right here. Black versus white. This is a black versus white chessboard. So none of this surprises me. In fact, I think a big part of this performance had helter-skelter all over it because they knew the response it would get. Yeah, and a lot of so-called white people do love rap. A lot of people love rap. I love rap. I don't necessarily love certain types of rap, of course. And I don't even like to say rap. It's hip-hop. I love hip-hop music. But again, it's a massive culture of all different types of genres. And when we get to the mainstream stuff, it's satanic. I mean, it just is. If I'm going to be completely honest, it's just satanic. But there's so much good hip hop music that people aren't even aware of, and that it's the black and white thinking, and that's how they want us to think. They want us to think like, oh, if it's black, if it's rap, if it's hip hop, it's bad, it's ghetto. Like, that's crazy to me. It's a massive art form, right? That transcends race. It truly does. It transcends race. So anyhow, and that goes for any genre, whether it's punk or heavy metal, classic. I mean, you just can't. I just think it's unfortunate when people don't have enough nuance when it comes to art forms. Yeah, real hip hop back in the day, a lot of classic rap, a lot of classic hip hop, and there's a whole underground right now of really talented. They're like poets, man. And I myself, I write rhymes almost every other day. It's just part of me. I've been doing it since I was a kid. It's like painting a picture for me. It's art. It's a valuable thing in life. And unfortunately, it's been destroyed by a lot of these industries and these corporations and these satanic witches and warlocks, man. They take a good thing and they destroy it. Now, it is what it is, but let's continue now. So, and then here's Megyn Kelly, Uncle Sam was white. This right here, the whole Samuel Jackson as Uncle Sam. I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny, right? Especially given the time. And hello, it was Black History Month, right? And I get it. This is definitely looks woke, right? It definitely looks like the whole this replacement thing. I get it. Now, I thought it was funny. I thought the Black Samuel Jackson was funny, and I knew what they. I know the point they're trying to make, and we're gonna get into some breakdowns here. I got like 3 or 4 different ones that I thought were good for basic understanding what people are thinking. Right? So much social engineering, yes, Hulk. So much. Now, this is how they want people to respond. No, in fact, Uncle Sam is white. It's like, well, duh. Okay, let's not play into these politics. It's like rise above. That's how I look at it. Rise above some of this. If you think it's silly, if you think it's ignorant, rise above it, man. Don't fall into the left-right paradigm, back and forth bickering, because that's what they want, man. That's exactly what they want. Just laugh stuff off. I laugh stuff off, man. Now, here's what's his name. Robert Davi. He has something to say. Now, hey, I know this ain't going to sound right to some people. They're calling him a racist and all types of stuff. But some of this has some truth to it, I think. It's just coming, it's politically incorrect, I guess, if you want to say that. But listen, man, listen to the man speak. Let's see what he got to say here. Oh.
Dear fellow Americans, just my quick little rant on this halftime nonsense.
Now, again, non-artistic people or non-artist judging art, never a really good, I'd say, point of view, but what he's saying does have some interesting merit to it.
I mean, come on, stop with the ghetto crap. I'm done with the ghetto. I've had it up to here with ghetto. I know they want to say rap is this and rap is the streets and rap is the current and rap is the that. Look at jazz. The jump black and jazz blues artists.
Now this is the part where he's just, I mean, I get it, bro. I love jazz. Me and Brother Theo were talking about this. You know, how great jazz as a culture has been insofar as it consistently represents its past and adheres to its history and its roots and its lineage. It respects the pioneers and it maintains this culture, even in the new jazz artists, and it maintains this culture, if you will. And we were saying how hip hop doesn't have that. You got the young generations who just, don't want anything to do with the pioneers of the art form, and there's this separation, and that's true. But I think he's missing the fact that, jazz isn't like that anymore as far as being this big quote unquote black cultural phenom. It's way beyond black for the most part, right? It's transcended race, of course. I love jazz. I listen to jazz every day. But yeah, I'm sick of this ghetto crap. I just think these guys are angry. It's emotional. I understand we're in this very racially charged political time, and people are sick of seeing certain symbols and images, and this didn't help. This show didn't help. But I think if we're wise and we're thinking opposed to just emotionally reacting, we'll look past some of those things and try to see what the message is here. Because there were some messages in this. There were, right? There were messages in this that I think are important. Now, of course, the mouth they're coming out of, the show that's being performed at, of course, we have problems with these things. NFL, mainstream hip-hop industry. These are not things that we should necessarily trust or look up to or any of that stuff. But it isn't to say that we can't gather or glean some understanding from things, right? Even if it's coming from someone we don't necessarily agree with or support. Now, people aren't listening to jazz like that today, bro. Jazz isn't influencing culture today like that, bro. It's just kind of a silly thing to say. Well, what about jazz? Why aren't you guys walking around like jazz artists? Wearing collared shirts and smoking cigarettes, penny loafers. What's going on with that? Where's your saxophone, guys?
I'm with the ghetto. I've had it up to here with ghetto. I know they want to say rap is this and rap is the streets and rap is the current and rap is the that. Look at jazz. The jump black and
exactly, Blue Jimmy Blue Devil. Good to see you, by the way, man. Jazz was labeled as ghetto when it first came out. That's the funniest part about it. Jazz was like the antithesis of classical music. It was like at the time the ghetto stuff, and then there was all the drugs that were involved, the heroin epidemic and all of that. So it's funny to hear that. Now we look back and it's like, oh, it was a respectable art form, but at the time they were the outsiders. They were the hooligans, you know, the beatniks and all of that stuff. Fascinating how things change, right?
Jazz blues artists. Give me the Count Basie band. Give me Duke Ellington's band. Give me the history. Give me jazz.
Come on, like seriously, guys, listen to this. Give me Duke Ellington. It's 2025. We got TikTok. We got application generation, social media, Instagram, constant scrolling, 24/7 prawn, addictions, people strung out on all types of technologies. And this guy's talking about Duke Ellington in 2025. It's just ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Ellington's band. Give me the history. Give me jazz. You want to go black? Go art. Don't go ghetto. Let's lift the streets.
I like this idea of let's lift the streets. Let's go art. I get that, right? I get that point. I make that argument quite a bit. Let's get away from this kind of killing each other hood stuff, because that's not helping us out. But that's not really what Kendrick was at least saying, though he does represent it. He does promote the gang culture. It's LA. We get it. It's part of it. So it is a bit double-minded. Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, non-artists judging art. It's always going to come out a little pear-shaped.
Don't go ghetto. Let's lift the streets. Let's lift these kids off the streets. Enough with the garbage. Enough with the garbage. Enough with bringing these kids down into the garbage. Like that's the cool thing to do and this and that. No. Those gentlemen that created an art form, a gorgeous art form, those jazz artists, let's propagate that in America. Enough with this bullshit. Who in the NFL hired this act? And Sam Jackson monkeying around. I mean, I'm sorry. It just repulsed me. It absolutely repulsed me. What was the point? What's the point? Let's lift the kids. Let's give them something to aspire to, talent to aspire to. Let's train them in instruments and jazz and stop this rap crap that everybody thinks is the new Shakespeare.
Now, that's the thing. It's unfortunate that whether it be drill or the legacy of NWA and all of these very counterproductive like death culture types of rap, it's unfortunate that they've ruined what we've known to be as hip hop, or the art of MCing and DJing and breakdancing. When I think of hip hop, that's what I think of. So when I'm talking about quote unquote rap, I don't even like that term. That's a corporate term. Rap. That's a corporate term. When I think about hip hop, I think about MCing, putting pen to paper, being clever with words and telling stories. I think of breakdancing. I think of DJing and sampling and putting together sounds and beats and reaching back to the past and creating new things and synthesizing rhythm. You know, I think of graffiti, which is clearly illegal and damages things, but let's take it to the paper. Let's take it to fashion. You know, let's keep it off the streets and off the walls, and, you know, put it into legal formats, et cetera. This is what I think about when I personally think about hip hop. I don't think about, you know, the shooting and the death culture and the hypersexualization and the objectification of women and women's bodies and all of these things that has now come to define rap, quote unquote. So that's the hard part for someone that has lived in the culture and has practiced the culture, but also understands that it's a very diverse and nuanced culture that is much deeper than what it appears to be on the surface. It's hard, you know, it's hard to really let's stop sampling. I mean, if you know how to sample, sampling is very cool. If you know, I mean, I guess Puffy ruined that, right? And this whole idea of like telling other people how to do art, I think is crazy. I think that's crazy, and that's where the racialism comes into it. I think it's like I think you would only say that to a certain people group that you feel you have, I guess the right to. You know, we've been put in such a corner. It's very easy to kick a man while he's down, right? So it's like to tell someone what type of art they should make. That's crazy to me. As if jazz is what all black people need to be making. If that's all we can make, I just think that's absolutely crazy. So a lot of people saying this is a racist rant. I understand some of that because there is this lack of nuance and understanding that is clearly can be perceived as racism. But it's unfortunate that a lot of people would agree with this because there is some truth in that we shouldn't be promoting the death culture, etc. But it throws the baby out with the bathwater. You know, those of us who practice aspects of hip hop in the world are thrown in that basket too. You know, and I think that's very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. But let's continue.
It's not. It's garbage. It's not lifted. It's down. It's down. You have such great musicians, great black jazz musicians, and other musicians that could have been used. And instead of this crap, what are they trying to do? What's the message? What's the message in the collard greens? Tell me.
Oh, wow. First he said Sam was monkeying around, and then he says, what's the message in the collard greens? I think you know what he's doing with those words, with that word play. Yikes.
This ghetto crap. I'm done with ghetto crap.
But that's where we're at.
Lift the streets, man. Lift the streets. And black brothers and sisters, you've got so much talent out there.
And then we get to patronizing.
Lift the streets. Teach your kids dignity. Let's bring them into dignity instead of the street.
As if we all are from the street and all we do is teach our kids to be right. It's just, it's the heavy-handed blanket use of terms. It's like the monolithic regard with which he addresses the quote-unquote black people is rather, I'd say, irritating. But, you know, this is where we're at, man. This is what politics this is what has been created as a response to the back and forth, helter-skelter, left-right, black-white chessboard situation. This is where we're at, where people are just losing it. They're just losing it. And they're not thinking. And they're just stereotyping and putting people in boxes. And it's unfortunate. Now, you know, it is what it is. Now, I hardly ever agree with this dude, but he's, in a sense, this is this Brandon Tatum dude. No one to take serious ever, but he is in a sense echoing that sentiment here.
Why do we showcase the worst of the black community and then get mad when we get judged? Boy, he looks sassy. Why are you looking zesty doing that?
I must agree, the bootleg, like the whole bell-bottom thing, I know that's trending in the more higher fashion. I know that's kind of in right now, but I don't know if it looks right on that body type. I'm just being a little critical here, but I thought that was a bad call. I'm sorry, bad call.
Bro, say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to Cell Block 1. To any that talk to me they in love, just make sure you hot your loose.
Oh man, I'm playing this. I'm tripping. Hold on, why is he playing this? Hold on. I didn't want to play that part. Okay.
Now, let's just put this in perspective. Y'all heard the lyrics. Some of y'all know this song. Why does he have to blur out every few words that he say? Because he's cussing, he's saying the N-word, and he's saying derogatory, threatening stuff in this diss song. I'm just saying.
I mean, I agree. Men don't wear bell bottoms, period. I thought they looked silly on men in the 70s, and nothing has changed in that regard. Yeah, you'll never catch me wearing no bell bottoms. I'm sorry, man. I know people got style and different styles, but I never understood that one. You know, tight around the thighs and then like bowing out at the bottom of the knee. I don't know, man. They look great on women, though. Let me just be honest. They look amazing on women of any figure. But nah, let's keep it for the ladies, man. Just like let the ladies have it, man.
But this is what we highlight as our people. There was a scene where all these dudes on the corner doing this with gold teeth in their mouth and dreads, and it's like you're glorifying what? The hood. But then when you go to the hood, this is where a lot of black young men go to die. This is where drugs go to be sold. This is the lowest of the low denominator in our community. Most black people don't live in the hood. Most black people are in the middle class, to be honest. But this is what you're celebrating and you're exacerbating. And then you wonder why a brother with dreads is looked upon like a thug, because this is what y'all showing us to be. It's a minstrel show, which Samuel is a part of it.
Yeah, so just giving different perspectives of what people are saying. You know, Hendrix did pull it off. Okay, Hendrix pulled it off. There are some guys that might have pulled it off on stage, some of these singers back then. It's the aesthetic. I get that, right? Some of those guys, you know, it just fits because it was the time and what have you. And I guess when you're one of these stars, quote unquote, you can get away with all kind of crap, right? But yeah, I don't know. Now, let us continue, man. It just was a strange look. I don't know, man. Does this look right? I don't just doesn't sit right with me, man. And I'm not trying to judge, you know, everybody got their own style, man, you know. But it's just, I don't know. Anyhow, I really like the vehicle they picked though. I always thought this was a nice shaped vehicle here. But yeah, MAGA is so angry over Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. Stay mad, snowflakes. This is from one of these like leftist types. So here you go. You know, it's just agitprop. You got all the conservatives up in arms about it. You got all the Democrats promoting it. I don't know, man. It's just helter-skelter. Everything. Every time they have a chance. Now, let's see here. Now, I saw this, and now let's get into some of the messaging. And I really think this is just his 2016 Grammy performance over again, but with more bells and whistles. So and again, it is Black History Month, so I get why there's all of this symbolism, but I think it's really more about division and conflict. This just digs the knife deeper between black and white. Digs the knife deeper between left and right. Right. So here he says, "Thank you, Kendrick Lamar, for drawing attention to the influence of blacks in this country. Black America is America." Well, I agree. It is. Last night's performance emphasizes they not like us. And this whole they not like us, that's divisive. We don't need that right now. We don't need that right now. I have that one Sword of Truth. I do have it, but I don't know where it's at. I was looking for it. I know exactly the one you're talking about, and it's really funny. But I don't have it. I'll find it and I'll put it in tomorrow's show. I was cracking up when I saw that. But this whole divisive stuff isn't necessary. And Black America is America. Of course, I've said this in the past. You know, we all developed and designed this place together, you know, black and white. It's it's such a fascinating history with a lot of bumps and bruises and all types of battles and warfare. It's like, you know, siblings. You know, you fight with your sibling all the time throughout your life, but you still love them. You know, you don't know anything but each other. There is no black without white, you know. So, I mean, that's what built this country. You know, this relationship, this sibling-like relationship. So I think it's a beautiful thing. Of course, there's negatives, but there's positives too. They want us to focus on the positive. I mean, on the negative. You know, they want us to focus on slavery and all of these things. And that's the saddest part of it all. We keep focusing on the past, and I just think that it's like it's externalizing your power, you know. External locus of control. You're blaming everything on everyone else, and it isn't to say that a lot of things haven't caused where we're at, but we got to move forward. We can't keep looking back. I mean, that to me is just wild. And here's this is Pokemon. She's one of these like famous streamers, and she's speaking on this whole thing, and it's interesting. It's created this whole racial fiasco here. So she's speaking on this thing.
With probably zero musical capabilities think that.
So basically she's saying the only people that didn't like it were white men, which is completely idiotic. A lot of these people, their opinions are crazy, but it's It's when you see how popular they are, they do influence culture. And once it goes viral on social media, you start making up people's minds for them. And here we are with this big war between, you know, the white people who didn't like it and the black people who did. It's just crazy.
Kendrick Lamar didn't deserve the halftime show. Huh? What? What do you mean? Like, sure, we could sit here all day and be like, oh, I actually think this artist deserved it. What? Only white people hated it. I didn't want to say it. As a white passing person, I didn't want to say that. But you saying that and me repeating that message, I'm just going to let that sit. Okay, you know what pissed me off the most, respectfully, too? The people that I saw with this take the most were white men. Ain't nothing wrong with being a white man. That's not the point. My point is that, you know,
I totally agree, Nana. 150%.
I feel like if you watched his performance and really took it in, you'd be like, there are some underlying messages that the performance is trying to convey.
So she is Algerian. She's Algerian.
Especially during Black History Month. So you sitting there, again, respectfully.
My mother is mixed. My mother is white and black, and my dad is black.
Whatever. Being like, oh, I don't think he deserved it. It's just like, stop, please. Please. Please stop. Please. Please. Shh. Arrête. Please arrête. And if you don't know what that means stop in French.
Yeah. she lost me too, man. Yep. Wise as a serpent. Perfect emoji, man. I know it's cringe, but these are the people influencing, right? That's why their takes are important, because these are the takes people are running with, right? I know, Emmanuel. I don't know what she even meant by that, but here we go. Look at this now. This is a response. Now there's a big debacle in the streamer culture now. So this guy, XQC, hit back at Pokemon's claim only white men didn't understand Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance. And he says, the point of a halftime show isn't to give the world some puzzle to figure out. Like, bro, do you even know what you're talking about? They are a puzzle. And they're made for you to figure out what's inside of them. I mean, all of these shows are symbolic. And especially this one. So even this is just funny to me. It's like, the point of a halftime show isn't to give the world some puzzle to figure out. It reminds me when people say, hey, man, everything's not a conspiracy. It's like, come on, most things are, though. Let's be real. Most things are. And you want to tell me there's no symbolism? This girl went crazy. Watch this quickly. We're definitely not watching the whole thing, but this just totally destroys what this guy was saying. I was cracking up when I saw this.
That you'll see. So I just rewatched the Super Bowl halftime show again, and there's so much shit in this. Let's talk about it. First, I want to point out that his entire Super Bowl stage is a PlayStation controller. And who owns PlayStation? Sony? Where's Drake signed to? Sony. So that's the very first button that he's pushing here. Samuel L. Jackson comes out as Uncle Sam, and he starts the game. He says this is America's greatest game, but America's greatest game is actually on halftime, so that's not what he's talking about. Then opens with a clip of his song GNX, standing on top of his GNX. This man said, you would not get the picture if I had to sit you for hours in front of the loop, meaning some of you are just not going to get this. Followed by...
I'm sorry, she's Moroccan, not Algerian, my bad. Master Mindful's correct. She's Moroccan, so I didn't know she was Canadian Moroccan, but I know she's Moroccan, not Algerian, my bad.
Started with nothing but government cheese, but now I can seize the government too. And then says the revolution's about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. And behind him, the crowd lights lit up, warning, wrong way. So the background dancers are super important to this.
You could tell this girl watched this thing like 20 times with her eyes glued to the screen, like with her eyelashes wrapped around the edges of the frame. I'm like, the stuff she's pulling out of this is wild.
Too, because they're jumping out the GNX, all the different set colors. And then Kendrick goes into Squabble Up, and all of the sets kind of go into their own colors with their own people, and they get ready, and they look like they're about to fight. As he plays Squabble Up, they all stay in their own little sets, and they all...
Yeah, I don't know what she meant by the passing thing. I didn't get that either.
All squabble up together. They then all march into these lines on the stage, and it pops back to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam says this isn't what America wants. It's too loud, it's too reckless, and it's too ghetto, and he asked if Kendrick even knows how to play the game. The dancers then follow Kendrick up onto stage, surround him in the shape of the American flag. Kendrick is the only star on the stage, and he follows the rules, and he plays humble. Sit down. Be humble. But at the end of it, he says, hold up. And then he goes into DNA. And notice...
Okay, enough. You guys get it. So I guess there's no symbols, right? It's not about symbols, right? When this thing is literally everything you see is giving you some symbolic message, right? And then there was this one, which I think is a big part of this too, trying to stoke this political war. Kendrick literally protested and taunted America in front of the president during America's biggest sports event, Chef's Kiss. He wasn't taunting anybody. You realize that, for one, he was there, and they allowed this to happen, but at the same time, they totally shunned the progressive darling, Taylor Swift. So there is no left-right. There is no, us against them. It's all one machine. The whole thing is an op to just piss people off. So this whole perspective is exactly what they want people to think. This was a shot at, the machine, and as if this dude ain't part of the machine, as if he's not a super wealthy industry type that's, living off of it all. Fascinating. Yeah, maybe taunting Drake. That's about it, Nana. He was definitely taunting Drake. That's for sure, which is a big part of it as well. This whole battle conflict, and he's exposing Drake as a PDF, as if that's even true. I mean, he's a dirtbag. He's a pervert. That's clear. He's definitely a pervert. But we don't know what these people are actually doing, and it's deeper than these people and these personalities. It's way deeper. Way deeper. And apparently people are tying this in. I didn't know this. This is news to me. So they're making a big deal out of Samuel Jackson playing Uncle Sam and this whole black liberation thing, because apparently he was an usher at Martin Luther King Jr.'s funeral. I didn't know that. On the 50th anniversary of MLK's assassination. Let's see. That's so loud. Goodness. Where is this at? That's crazy. I did not know that about him. We actually petitioned the Morehouse Board in 1969 to meet with them. But the black people who were around them said, no way, you can't come in here. You can't talk to them. What is this? So I guess what people are trying to do, they're trying to pin it on him as he's some, black liberationist. And I don't know. It's everything is about putting people on some racial side, and I'm just so sick of this crap, man. I'm so over it. This is exactly what they want. This is exactly what they want. So here's the symbols and the messages people are picking up. So basically, the American flag colors, all black dancers, Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam. Like, why aren't we talking about this? I get the minor stuff is cool. The A minor stuff is cool, but Kendrick actually used this opportunity to say something that is so unbelievably huge. And everybody keeps repeating this line he made. The revolution is about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Right? As if he's the revolutionary. As if he's bringing in the revolution, guys. And this is the part that really gets under my skin a little bit. Like, are we really taking Kendrick Lamar serious as some type of political revolutionary? Like, really? Just like we're taking Elon Musk seriously to fix our government, just like we're taking the Donald Big Daddy Warp Speed serious to run the country and make America great again. Are we really doing this? This is where people just go off the deep end, where you start looking at politicians and celebrities as saviors and heroes that are actually going to do something for you on a deep level. They might do some surface stuff. They might give us some policies. You know, they might give us some kickbacks that they owed us anyways, right? They might, you know, fix some things a little bit here and there. But anything on a deep, transcendental or massive change level, nah. If it doesn't have their best interests in mind, of course, no. And that it is what it is. So for me, it's like, here we go with this crap. Like he's some revolutionary. Now, what he's saying is revolutionary, but it's just lip service. He's an industry. He's an industry type, man. Irony is he's a puppet of the system. Exactly, Scavell. Good to see you, man. Exactly. False idols, yes. Right? It's just crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to think that people put the way whether that be they behave or the way they think in a box that has a color on it. That to me is just a low way of, not just a low level of thinking in general, but a very limited sense of self. And just I'd say a very empty identity. If you're defined by what politics tells you and what history has told you about your people group, I mean, that to me it's just lacking. We're humans, we're persons, we're subjects with very unique stories and experiences and talents and beliefs, etc. We're so much deeper than that. Like, to me, that's mind-blowing that someone would limit their personhood to a color. That, I mean, you can't even get much lower than that. That's like ant level thinking to me. It's like collectivist hive mind thinking. That to me is just wild. But again, this is what politics do. You know, this is what politics do to people. And it isn't to say that there aren't real issues in the world, for sure. There's definitely all types of historical issues. But we have to move beyond those at this point. Because you definitely can't rely on the system to help you out. That's obvious. That's obvious. You definitely can't do that. Now, let's watch this one here. This is one of the more political breakdowns that I found rather interesting here. Let's watch this one.
I think MAGA is most upset about Kendrick Lamar's performance because he made it simple enough that they could understand. So they were screaming DEI higher because their conception of DEI higher is that if you're black and qualified, you don't deserve a job. If you're white and unqualified, you do. And throughout this performance, Kendrick Lamar basically schooled them on so much. Just remember, these people are sitting in a stadium watching the NFL, which is 53% Black Americans, compared to 14.4% in the general population. And they're fine to watch that, to watch the physical labor of African Americans. And here you have a halftime show where the intellectual labor of African Americans is being showcased. And every element was something they should have probably understood in school, but he made it clear. Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam is clearly a dual reference to the expected minstrelly American society has to black men, and the fact that this country was built by black bodies in slavery. But he doesn't make it subtle.
Too reckless, too ghetto. Mr. Lamar, do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up.
I also think people are reading a little bit too much into it. But again, that's how this works, especially with the internet, this whole new TikTok culture now. Everyone has a theory, right? But I find the breakdowns interesting.
And he's not talking about Super Bowl, he's talking the game of America.
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
Now, okay, let's be completely honest here about all of this. I get the reparation arguments. I totally understand them. The whole 40 acres and a mule history is diabolical. The way things turned out for our people group in this country, I mean, for sure. But at this state, right at this stage in history, how do we make up for that without creating all types of crazy shifts in our entire society? It's such a massive, it's just such a massive thing. I don't know how it is politically possible. And unfortunately, people are trying to go through politics to fix this. And I don't think that's possible. There's just not enough culturally and politically shared views, even in the black quote unquote community, whatever that is, because the black quote unquote community is extremely diverse. Extremely diverse. Even the concept of black and white is silly to me. I don't think it actually has meaning anymore. It did at one time, but it's been corporatized, it's been politicized, it's been turned into something else now. And it's really unfortunate that people are still, thinking into this and thinking this way, right? Now, people can't. Another thing is this whole idea of revolution, and it's silly. Revolution, what are you going to do? Right? Really? This isn't the 60s. This is a totally different ball game, totally different culture. And he's talking about he's talking about revolution. We can't even get people to read a damn book. But hey, if somebody wins the Super Bowl, oh, you'll get all types of energy. You'll get all types of people hitting the streets, acting crazy. This is all it takes.
Are you going to school tomorrow?
I don't know.
Is he going to school tomorrow?
No, he ain't making it. February 9th.
This is all it takes to get people up and out, wild, going crazy.
Jalen fucking Hurts.
This is all it takes, guys. See? We can't get people to read a damn book. But if one of our teams win, or if one of our hip hop lovelies gets on the stage, we feel proud. It's just silly to me, man. I'm sorry. It is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And this is just proof. Ain't no revolution happening. It's a wrap. It's over. If you're not taking care of yourself, fixing your mind and your spirit, getting right with God, raising a healthy family, and bringing righteous, good children into this world, just continue to rot, because it's over. It's done. There's no saving this place, especially politically. It's not happening.
Some gunshots.
Is that a Glock going off?
Prior AR, Smith & Wesson.
This is all it takes. This is it. You want to get people in the streets saying something, doing something? Go to the entertainment industry, right? That's it. That's it, man. I'm so sick of the political people, man. It's like, look, y'all, I've been there, done that. I'd been through the marches. I did that whole thing for many years, and ain't nothing changed. Everybody's still talking about the same crap we was talking about in '96. Okay, when we were having meetings, when we were having demonstrations, when we was staying up all night, out all night, waving pickets, screaming and yelling, trying to get change. In '96, same issues today. In fact, they're worse. And why? The technology has rot people's minds. There's no cohesion. There's no unity. There's no shared identity outside of surface things like skin color, which is superficial. You can't create any transcendent, meaningful, qualitative, valuable movement based on superficial identities. It's never worked, and it never will. And it's amazing to me that people can't figure this out by now. It's all vanity. It's all vanity. Now, I saw this breakdown. Thought this one was interesting.
Last night, Kendrick gave us a nuanced discussion of what it is to be black in America. He was saying America is a game and we're all trapped inside of it. The stage was a giant PlayStation controller that the performers couldn't even see the entirety of. So this is like what we're trapped in America, in mass incarceration, in capitalism, in the entire American system. We are trapped.
What would you like an example of power share? Let me know.
In a game that we have no chance to win. And not only that, we can't even see that we're in the game. Like, the dancers can't see that we can't even see that we're in a game. And you got Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam. When do we get to see a black man play Uncle Sam? And we're seeing Sam.
We got to see a black man play God. Yeah, race hustling. You know how it goes. Didn't what's his name play quote lowercase G? Didn't what's his name play what's his name?
Say, hey, you're being too ghetto, too rebellious. Don't you know how to play the game? For an older black man to say to him, don't you know how to play the game? That is so deeply coded. Like, do you know how to navigate the system? Do you know how to deal with the hurdles that the white man is going to throw at you? Do you know how to do the necessary sacrifices and compromises and code switching that's necessary?
Yeah, Morgan, yeah.
Necessary to get there. Kendrick had been doing his hardcore rap songs.
Yeah, power share, absolutely. So struggles we have now that we didn't have in 96 were communication struggles, social struggles. We were able to come together. And talk about political things in a very deep way. At a much higher level. We were far more intellectual. We were more well read. We had more patience, and we were deeper. We were mad deep. We had hundreds and hundreds of us interested in these things. Today, you'd be hard pressed to find those kind of communities unless you go to the university. We were doing this in high school. We were doing this in not elementary, but middle school. In middle school, we had a club where we would talk about these things. We didn't have phones to distract us. We didn't have pornography to keep us horny all the time, preoccupied with getting a nut. We didn't have all of this death culture on our screens every day, all day, trying to reenact it. We actually had time to spend with each other and talk about things. We understood each other. We trusted each other. We had connections for years. We knew people and trusted people in our neighborhoods. And we knew our surroundings in a way that we don't today. Of course, it still exists, Tyra, absolutely. It still exists, but not like it did in 96. It was way more common in 96. Not to mention, we just had a different way of thinking. We had a different way of looking at the world. We were far less distracted. We were far less preoccupied with nonsense. Yeah, of course, we definitely had our fallouts. We definitely got addicted to weed, and we had our issues. But I mean, those things were nothing compared to all of the distractions that the generations have today. They don't only have weed, but they got prawn, they got social media. They got 5 or 6, 7 different 5, 6, 7 or 8 different applications that they have to interact with every day. They're concerned about their opinions and their identity and, their representation on the internet, online. They have this constant behind the scenes fog that they're dealing with every day. That has to do with the virtual world we all live in as we live in the physical world. We didn't have these things. So we were able to, not to mention we didn't have as much, though there was propaganda, because a lot of the stuff we were talking about was propaganda if we consider the history and all of that. But we didn't have as much of the influencer influence and the social media propaganda influence. We didn't have all of that back then. Right. So, I mean, I remember just generally speaking, you could go to someone and have a long conversation, especially even if you didn't have to know people to have long conversations about things. Today, that doesn't exist. People will think you're weird. People like, what's your Instagram? text me or what, back then we were able to interact in a way that you can't really find as often today. Right? I think those things, and I'm speaking about social things, these social changes, these I say social inhibitors keep people from understanding things at a deeper level and understanding the broader scope of things. Back then, we had far less to deal with. We were able to focus more. And I think those are some of the power share. Those are some of the examples. Now that's a whole other concept. That's a whole other set of concepts when we think of poverty and murders and crime and ghettos. Yeah, that has necessarily always existed. That's a whole different conversation, right? We could get into stats and all of that stuff. Technically, violence has gotten better over time, but again, man, these statistics are crazy because you can make arguments for both sides using statistics depending on where you get them and how you present them. But yeah, that's a completely different conversation. But I'm focusing more on just the social element. As people, we were more socially sophisticated, if you will. And we are social creatures. And if we're going to do anything political, that is the social. We were locally focused. There we go. There we go, Freeway. Yes, see, we had that local state of mind, which is powerful because that's where change happens. The organizing, yes, that's where change happens. That's why I tell people local, depending on how big your city is, if it's a huge city, that's difficult. But local politics, you can make some change in your communities. You actually can. With enough people and enough influence, you actually can make small scale change. And we had this local state of mind, which was, I'd say, advantageous, right? Yeah, 90s R&B did ruin a lot of us. Listen, there was a war on us too. Just like there was a war on the boomers in the 60s. We all had our wars. I guess my argument is every generation, things get incrementally more complex and more complicated to the degree that they surpass the human capacity for actually rendering all of this data. So the generations now have difficulty rendering all of the information, whether it be social, digital, etc. Rendering all this information is a lot more difficult because there's more on their plate. There's more for them to deal with. And they in many ways have less social resources than we did. We had people we can go to, right? We had communities. We had third places, right? Organizations, strongholds, social strongholds we could just go to. Younger people today, the generations today don't have that as much. Everyone's online. Everything's virtual. The communities are broken up. People don't trust each other as much. So there's less of this cohesion, right? And I think this is very damaging if we're going to talk about politics. I mean, those are all very acidic and poisonous features to have because politics is rooted in social cohesion. Politics is rooted in the local. And these things have slowly been taken away. So, I mean, when we want to talk about these things, what are you talking about? People can't even get along. People don't even want to read anymore. We don't even have the level of attention span to sit down and dig through things for understanding. How are we going to make any change in our communities? Right? And it's the same game plan. That's my biggest issue with a lot of these movements. It's the same game plan. You're just going to the politicians. And I'm not talking about the local politicians. I'm talking about the presidents and all of the federal politics and the NGOs. All of these things are controlled. Look at what BLM was. That whole thing was an op. That entire thing was an op. So it's frustrating when I see these grand political statements, even though they may have merit in some regards, sure. There is historical pain and historical crisis that has never been mended or healed. Absolutely. But there's no fixing that this way. There's only a long-term fix. There's no short-term. Now, I know a lot of people make the reparations argument for short-term. I stay out of that argument because it doesn't make any logical sense to me of it actually working. The whole moral arguments about the should, that's different. But the actual application and the logic behind that, I just don't see how that's even possible without infringing on other people's rights to some degree, right? So that's a difficult situation that I don't even waste my time with because I don't think it's very possible outside of course, digital ID UBI systems, which probably will bring some type of reparation soon. They probably will provide it through some digital identification, through some type of stable coin. There will probably be that soon. And that's going to be a perfect way to get people to buy into the new Singularity system. Yeah, this is London, by the way. Little walk, a little stroll. Yeah, full spectrum dominance. And I feel like they're really going to utilize these social movements to get people to buy in. We'll see. And then there was this here. So people are saying, I don't know, I thought this was interesting here. People are saying that at the end here, he had people position like swastikas. And of course, the fact checkers say, no, it's not swastikas. But I thought that was interesting, right? Especially because right after that, Kanye went wild. This guy went wild. I think he had a commercial. I didn't see it. Am I Jewish? Of course, I'm not Jewish. Nah, man. Why would you think I'm Jewish? I mean, nothing wrong with Jewish people, man. I love all people. So this is what he did, man. This is wild. Like, this guy is such a troll. I really think he's lost his mind at this point. Some people say skits. I think he's MK Ultra personally. I think he's MK Ultra. I really do. I think he is just a long-term MK Ultra victim who is probably highly drugged right now. He might have just had a update or something. But he told everybody to go to Yeezy.com, and this is what he had. He had nothing but this shirt for sale. It's so crazy what's happened to this guy, man. And he went on this rant on Twitter, like typing all this really sick stuff. He was even putting like prawn links. It's really sick. Very disgusting. And he was apparently, a Christian at one point, and he was even talking against the prawn industry. And now he's like promoting it. It's sad, man. It's sad and it's disgusting. And I just don't even know what to say about this weirdo anymore, man. He's a talented guy. I mean, geez, he's made some incredible music. He's made so much music, people don't even realize all of the stuff he's produced since the 90s. It's sad to see such a talented person be taken like this, you know? And he was just trolling Christians. I've heard this too. I don't really know. It's hard to say for sure. But man, it's sad. This dude, I couldn't believe what he was posting, man. I really could not believe that. There's young people that are struggling with the flesh, you know what I'm saying? Like struggling with that stuff. And he's posting that. Yeah, they got him good. They really did, King Sir. They got him good, real good, man. And he was telling people this before. There's all these videos of him. And I'll actually pull some of those because I think they're really good videos to really see how MK Ultra works when he was being very transparent and truthful about these things. Those are very important clips because I think he's giving us an opportunity to peer into that whole industry of MK Ultra artists. And then to see how he just totally changed. Like, damn. It's really sad, man. I hate to see anybody going through that, even though these guys are, they're part of this whole thing, but they're still human, Yeah, Pioyo. Shout out to Pioyo. He's out there in Ginza, right? I think he's in Ginza. Yeah. I believe he's in Ginza, Japan. He's just a tortured soul. I'd wish he'd just go away and make music and just stop it with all of this political stuff and putting himself out there. And he's kind of fading away a little bit, man. Maybe he feels like Drake, you know, he's kind of fading away. Yeah, like it's all one person, right? We understand it's not all one person for sure, Dream Detective. We gotta get away from that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying, Blue Jimmy. They're saying that it was a horrible show and Usher was way better last year. A lot of people are saying that. Yeah, he's clearly compromised, that's for sure. I mean, the stuff he's saying and doing right now is just mind-blowing. Yep, connected to Marina Abramovich. Yep, for sure. Yeah, he's dropping a new album, Ramos, and that's what I thought this was about. I thought this was about that. I thought he was just trying to... My bad, hold on, let me turn this on. I thought he was just promoting... his album. But this ain't the way to do it, man. Come on. There's like kids and... Not kids, mate, but young people that can see this stuff. You know, he doesn't care. He got his woman walking around. Bucket naked. Yeah, Usher's another one of these really talented guys that you know is tied up in this mess. Man, I've seen some videos of him. Yeah, you have seen all those old hip hop exposed videos, man. That stuff is wild. It's a wild, wild place, man. All of these people. I like that toilet though. Yeah, I really feel bad for him, man, because he's think about it. Can you guys name anyone that is struggling like Ye or Kanye is? I can't think of anyone that's that strung out. Justin Bieber's looking pretty bad right now, but I've never seen anyone this strung out. It's wild. And then you think about how influential he is in the industry. Some say he's like the Michael Jackson of his era, right? Yeah, Usher was Puffy's puppy. Exactly. That's what I was trying to get at. That's what I was trying to get at, basically. Yeah. Yeah, you reap what you sow at the end of the day. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, let me pull that up. Kodak Black. Perfect. Yes. Another really sad story. And I have this clip here too. Actually, I was going to save it, but let me just pull that up now. And Kanye is talking about like helping him out. Let's see. Kodak Black. Yeah, man. I saw this video. I couldn't even believe that was him. Let me get the Kanye one too. And I don't know if this is Kanye trying to be an opportunist, because that's really messed up if he is. He does have a heart, though. I've seen him do some really great things for people. Let me see. I couldn't even believe this. This is the saddest I've seen Kodak in a while, because he's been struggling, but this is really bad.
Free advertisement. You over there recording the wrong thing.
He's like in the middle of the street, and the fans. This is the part that's disturbing. You know, I get it. You guys are fans, but it's dehumanizing. This guy's here struggling. He's clearly not in his right mind. He's sitting in the middle of the street eating chicken. Clearly just wigged out, and these guys want to get a photo op. They want to get a photo op. And they just laughing. It's really unfortunate to see. But that's the industry. It's dog eat dog. You know, it's normative narcissism. It's all about the virality and the attention economy. It's horrible. It really is. He's just so wigged out. Like, what is he doing? Poor dude. And he's been struggling for a while. But he had a moment where he was looking better, you know? He just has a serious drug issue. And it's clearly damaged his brain. It's clearly damaged his brain to where he's no longer here. He's no longer here. So that's a viral clip of him. I just saw this yesterday, and yeah, he's. Thank you for mentioning that, cause yeah, man, he's probably worse than Kanye for sure because he's not even in his right mind.
I know y'all thinking I'm going through something right now.
Now here's Kanye's response to it, which is interesting because all of a sudden he's acting normal again. So I don't know, man.
I know y'all thinking I'm going through something right now, and I got bags under my eyes and shit. But I just saw a video of Kodak, and I wouldn't want nobody to like do an interview.
That's Kodak Black Tranquil Vortex. He's a Florida rapper. He does look possessed. It does, and it is yeah. He's just dealing with clearly some brain issues as a response to his drug use. But yeah, it's really sad. And he's young too. He's young. He's a young guy.
Conventional me. That's why I want to put this video up, because y'all might think, oh man, Ye really going through right now. Somebody need to go get him. Or yo, go take his Twitter and stuff like that. But I'm just telling you calmly that I am in a good space. I'm really in a positive space.
Okay, how is he in a good space when he was just posting prawn links talking about he loves, and I know he was allegedly trolling the Dayz, but come on, bro, you don't do that. You don't post those links. People are struggling with that kind of stuff, man. I'm not buying that for a second. I really don't know what to say. I just don't trust anything that any of these artists say anymore, dude. It's crazy.
It's cathartic. I got my ideas out. That's all that happened. And that was very full up, because y'all might think, oh man, Ye really going through right now. Somebody need to go get him. Or yo, go take his Twitter and stuff like that. But I'm just telling you calmly that I am in a good space. I'm really in a positive space. It's cathartic. I got my ideas out. That's all that happened. And that was very freeing for me, and it was worth everything. It was worth everything to do that. So let's start there. Now, I've seen this video of my brother Kodak, and I feel a call, and he's actually wearing this Donda chain. And
now, was it the Donda chain that got you or what, man? Anyways.
It's not just because he's wearing a chain, but
okay.
It's like...
Yeah, exactly, Carrie. Exactly. Porn isn't cathartic, my man. Thank you. Like, there's no excuse that I'll accept. There's no excuse I'll accept for that. It looks like Ye's core personality speaking. See, power shit. That's what I'm tripping off of. Like right here, he seems genuine. And again, man, these guys, they have altars and stuff. You know, I believe that. They have altars. They could go in and out of these altars. So there might not, or at least maybe we'll never be able to see the sincere person. And it's hard to know who the real person is. It's so crazy, man. Anyhow, let me just play this.
I got my ideas out. That's all that happened. And that was very freeing for me, and it was worth everything. It was worth everything to do that. So let's start there. Now, I've seen this video of my brother Kodak, and I feel a call, and he's actually wearing this Donda chain. And it's not just because he's wearing a chain, but it's like, how he's sitting here wearing this chain unless something's saying to go and get my brother. And I thought about it before. I was like, man, I should go down to Miami. Maybe I could be the person that could make a difference. And that's what I'm about to do right now.
Now, regardless of whatever he's going through, whatever he said, yeah, go help that man. Somebody help him. If Kanye ends up being the only guy that goes out there and helps him, well, at least someone helped him. That guy, he needs help. Someone needs to pull him out of this. Crazy. But it's just so many mixed messages with all this, man. It's wild. It's just interesting to see how all of this is happening, yet we don't really know what is going on. And these are the big influencers of our world, especially in these industries. Kodak Black is kind of, he's not as big as he used to be, but he definitely has a very, very big following. And he's young. He's a young kid, man. So we don't want to see him go. Like, we've seen a lot of these young guys pass away because of drugs. You know, it's sad. Yeah, B Tisdale. I question it too. You know, it's like, is this opportunism? I wouldn't put that past Kanye for a second. Not for a second. It's hard to trust any of this stuff. But it's moving the populations. People are heavily influenced and into this stuff, unfortunately. So some people are saying that, I had this one thing here, somewhere, let me pull this up, where is this at? I thought this was strange. So this is like a truther account that says it looked like a typical occult ritual, but it was reversed or something, and maybe it's saying that the occult is over, secret occult order coming to an end. I think that is, I don't agree with that at all, but it's just an interesting position. I've never seen this. So it says, could it be we witnessed a performance show of occult ritual ceremonies being done away with? The show started with what looked like your typical ritual ceremony, except pyramid upside down reversed. Magical square of Saturn turned into tic-tac-toe game. Rappers saying, turn off your TV and rapping about PDFs. The girl in red, which normally represents sacrifice, was spared. Red, white, and blue outfits. People formed the U.S. flag. The words warning turn back, Jeremiah 6:16. The words game over at the end. My mind went right into ritual ceremony because it seemingly started as one, but a closer look shows it was a performance showing from the very beginning the start of occult rituals, with them eventually ending and not being carried out or reversed. This very well may have portrayed the secret occult order coming to an end. The game is over. Very optimistic. But yeah, sounds like some Q nonsense, right? Totally. That I never heard this take before. I was like, really interesting. I didn't gather that at all. But okay, you know, maybe this is a idea that's becoming popular. It had ritual written all over it, as far as I'm concerned. It just was very political. They're all rituals in my view. They wouldn't allow these are invoking and evoking ceremonies. Like, all these people, all this energy, all this like focus, you know. This is like spirit, what is it? Energy harvesting type of stuff. I think that's the case for a lot of these massive events. Yeah, I know all that stuff's hard to prove, but I mean, all the symbolism, it just spells, yeah, all of this stuff. So I'm not buying that, but I thought that was interesting. It's like, I've never seen a take like that before, especially from like people who dabble in these ideas. I thought that was interesting. Trust the plan. Gatrians. Yeah, they're saying how Trump is the last president. Yeah, this is true. It is true, Danae, sorry. It's true. Man. I'm actually working on a video now. I'll be posting, I think, Friday before the Future Shock episode. I got some things to say about that. It's wild, all these moves Trump is making. Just none of it seems real. It all seems so performative. Like, what is even happening right now, guys? We haven't seen political shifts and movements like this ever. I mean, as I said before, the closest thing was maybe the New Deal with FDR and possibly stuff Wilson was doing, but it's just weird. Strange time to be alive. Indeed, it really is. Trump's on crack. He's definitely on something, man. I wouldn't be surprised if that guy was MK Ultra too, man. I really would be surprised for a second. Because the way he's talking and the way he's just like he's just so cavalier and lackadaisical about all of these massive decisions he's making. As if running a country is just, it's nothing to it. We just gotta close all of these different agencies and we're gonna clean it up. We're gonna clean it up real good. It's like, yeah, okay, bro. What does my family think? Well, those that are aware of it, don't support it for sure. My immediate family, or at least my mother, she watches my work, so she's like a hardcore truther. Mom's is a truther, like real deal, like boots on the ground truther. But yeah, everybody else, man, nah, they're in this world, they're in this world, so they definitely don't support it. But I expect that. It's sometimes a little hard to deal with, but this is the cards I've been dealt. Yeah, I can't wake up everybody. It's tough. It's just us. We're the only ones, man. Everybody else is just stuck in this machine, man. Yeah, stuck in this machine. It's frustrating, Make pennies great again. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about that on Friday. So he got rid of pennies. I got a clip. Some guy's like, what are nickels next? And he makes this look, and it's like, bro, I'm thinking is cash next. He's talking about pennies cost us so much money. Yeah, I bet cash costs a lot of money too, bro. I bet it's not nearly as efficient as a CBDC or a stable coin. You see where this is going? When everything becomes efficiency and when everything is rendered or boiled down to economics, I mean, we just become units, man, ones and zeros. And it's crazy how people aren't seeing this. Yeah, he got rid of pennies. Pennies are done. He's like, pennies are dead. Pennies are over. They cost too much money. Yeah, I know where he's going with this. I know exactly where he's going with this. Soon cash is going to be too expensive. It's just a cumbersome system. There's no need for it. Right? It's crazy, man. I wish more people would wake up, but again, we understand how it is. Yeah, I'm saving all my pennies now, especially now. And to think people just give pennies away now, they might be actually worth something. At least a lot more than just a cent. Pennies are ridiculous. I understand the logic behind it, right? I'm more looking at down the line, If you're going to get rid of the pennies, you're just probably going to get rid of coins altogether because they are cumbersome, right? And even the unit of 1 cent is probably absolutely pointless, especially today. But I don't think they're just going to stop there. I think with this kind of efficiency machine, the logic continues. So you'd probably say, well, dollars. We don't need dollars. We don't. Maybe we should just get rid of cash altogether. Yeah. Yeah, maybe there's like me and people don't ask questions. I don't push and they don't pull. Yeah, it's very similar with that in my family. That's how it is. We just kind of stay in our lanes and don't, I don't have time for that back and forth with people that aren't trying to even understand. They're just stuck in their ways. I accept that. I accept it. Yeah, not yet, right? It's like crazy. And I do understand coins in general do seem cumbersome, but when you realize they're just trying to digitize everything and get us locked into this type of AI system, I mean, maintaining those types of cumbersome systems seem good. It seemed like, an alternative to this crap. Yeah, they are a hustle to handle. It's true. Yeah, they're not going to take it well. They're not. 1837 was the last copper penny. Wow. I didn't know that. Everything is going to go $9.95. Yeah, basically. Oh, they're taking away their $9.99, right? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, cash only. I definitely spend cash as much as I can, where I can, because now that's even dwindling. A lot of places don't accept cash at all. It's becoming more normal. But yeah, I would definitely say try your best to spend as much cash as you can, as much as possible. It would be nice to maintain that system. Yeah, the whole thing is an act. Yeah, I agree. 1983? Or round up to 10. Yeah, exactly. Round up to 10. There we go. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. All arenas are no cash since CV19. Wow, I didn't know that. Interesting. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. That's how they get us too, the big events, right? That's how they get us, because people want to go, so they're willing to conform, right? So they can go see the show or see the event. Yeah. Yep. Tax bracket changes too. True. A lot of stuff is changing. That's the thing, man. It's such drastic change so quickly. I don't see it happening smoothly. And I don't think they care about that. They're willing to have a little pain. Remember the Fed said that? What's that guy, the Fed dude? And he was like, yeah, there's going to be some pain. But once we get through the pain, we'll smooth things out. That's wild. That's just wild to me. It's like, damn. It's just systems to them, right? We're just units within systems that they're manipulating. It's frustrating, man. Yes, yeah. Serena promoting gang culture. Yeah, that's what I was speaking to. And I think that's what a lot of people are referring to when they're talking about quote unquote ghetto, et cetera, is, yeah, you are kind of promoting this gang culture. That's not cool. We don't need that. We do not need that. We don't. Not right now. It's the last thing we need. Yeah. Oh, Uncle Sam for the Civil War. Yeah, that's a good one. A lot of people are really breaking this thing down and reading into it, and I get it, but at the end of the day, in my view, it's all about division and trying to invoke and evoke different types of spirits, egregores. There's a spiritual aspect of it, and there's a political aspect of it to affect society and just dig the knife deeper into the political divide we already have been going through. Building this thing up more to some crescendo, leading us towards this reset scenario, bit by bit. And it's always been the case. Every Super Bowl, they've actually, since Trump, every Super Bowl they've had this. Remember the Beyonce one when she did the whole Black Panther thing? I did a video on that too. I think that was 2018. I'm just so sick of this stuff, man. Because I know this whole politics are going to fix it. So let's be politically active. It's not going to work. We have to use new methods. And I think those new methods require unity that's beyond race. That's why we have to come together under Christ. And this is why they consistently try to deface the faith and sell us these false Christs and these, pseudo religions, etc. Yeah, Katy Perry riding on the beast, another one, yeah. Yeah, so it always gets to be a little bit when I see people buying into the race stuff, and Just like, here we go again, man. Any chance they get, they pull that card on us, man, and they get us at each other's throats. So yeah, I'm gonna get myself out of here. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We're gonna continue this. I got an interesting breakdown on the other side of this, the dark Drakeo side. So yeah, I thank you all for tuning in. We are a viewership funded show here, so please, if you find your time here enjoyable, should I say, and if you find this work valuable, you can help produce it. So whether you simply tip your server or join our members groups, become a channel patron or local. Appreciate you guys, man, all of you guys. All the links are in the description if you guys choose to support. And again, we are not monetized nor receive any support via sponsorship. So the only sponsors here are you that choose to support. And of course, we thank you. So I'm going to let you guys get out of here. I'm going to get on my way and get back to work. Got a bunch of editing to do. We'll be dropping 2 videos this week as well as Future Shock Fridays. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 17. A lot to produce, but I appreciate the patience and the support from you guys because I'm steadily working. So peace and blessings to you all. Man, it's not even the right outro, man. What am I doing? Where's my outro? We'll just do the intro.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad.